Good evening to you and welcome to Kutv Primetime News. We have so much lined up for you tonight, but as is our custom, let's take a look at our top stories tonight. Former Mungiki leader appears before Makadara law courts for his pre-trial 24 hours after his abduction. DPP appeals for controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie to be detained for 6 more months as court rules 30. National Dialogue Committee resumes the bipartisan talks at Bomas. Stakeholders will have a chance for exposition of their memorandums before the committee. And more public servants' allowances to be scrapped off in the new SRC plan. Samuel Kello is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is Anne Odida and we're live on our social media platforms. That is on YouTube and Twitter, X at Kutv Kenya. Today's Money Monday. We'll be having an interview later on the taxation and how it's affecting the Kenyan taxpayer. We begin. Former Mungiki leader demonstrations today appeared before a Makadara magistrate for his pre-trial. Jenga was charged with being in possession of Maasai rungus, bows and arrows, among other things, giving a presumption. They said weapons were intended to be used in a manner prejudicial order. Dorothy
24 hours after his abduction, former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga would later be released on Sunday at 10 p.m. after a statement by the opposition Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition demanded for his immediate and unconditional release or his production in court, threatening to hold the Inspector General of Police fully accountable for Mr. Maina's life should anything happen to him. The ex-Mungiki leader appeared before Makadara law courts in Nairobi today, as had been required of him for his pre-trial regarding claims that on July 20th, 2023, in Kaiserian within Kajiado County, Jenga together with 3 others were found in possession of offensive weapons, 14 machetes, 24 Maasai swords, 46 rungus, and 3 jembe sticks. A case that the Directorate of Criminal Investigation DCI Serious Crime Unit had alleged that they have reasonable presumption that the said offensive weapons were intended to be used in a manner prejudicial to public order. Jenga, through his lawyer, pleaded for protection from the court to avert what he calls state-engineered violence against the opposition. He claimed that his abductors had driven them together with his assistant to an unknown building and questioned them for hours about opposition plans.
Mic testing,
According to Jenga, he was abducted by familiar people, blindfolded them, then taken to a house that is not police station. The hearing of the case has been slated for December 4th, 2023. However, Maina has served the hearing in Nakuru Law Court on October 20th, 21st and 22nd on similar charges. Dorothy Musioka, KUTV.
All right, still in courts, controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie alongside his 28 followers will be detained for 30 more days waiting for the hearing of his case. However, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, or DPP, has filed a fresh application seeking court orders to have the controversial preacher and his co-suspects detained for 6 months, that is 180 days. Anyango Sylvia with more in this report.
Controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie will remain in custody for 30 more days as investigation into the Shakahola massacre that claimed 429 lives continue. According to the Chief Magistrate Yusuf Shikanda, the probation report was not an investigation into the Shakahola incident, but an interview that will assist the court in deciding on bail, as well as reason enough to warrant the court to extend the days. Mackenzie, together with his 28 followers, are facing at least 12 charges, including murder, terrorism, aiding people to commit suicide, crimes against the public, kidnapping, extremism, genocide, cruelty against children, fraud and money laundering. However, the prosecution has filed a fresh application seeking an order to have Paul Mackenzie and his co-suspects detained for 6 months to enable the police conclude investigations. The application, supported by an affidavit from Chief Inspector Rafael Wanjohi, revealed that DNA profiling of 429 bodies exhumed is delicate, expensive, hard and time-consuming. It will therefore require at least an additional 6 months to complete the DNA profiling process in order to conclusively establish the true identity of the exhumed bodies. After today's hearing, Pastor Paul Mackenzie will be detained for 30 more days, awaiting the case to be mentioned on 12th next month. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
The National Dialogue Committee has resumed the bipartisan talks today at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi. The committee, chaired by Kenya Kwanza Representative Kimani Ichung'wah and his Azimio counterpart Kalonzo Musyoka, has extended the presentation of memoranda up to Friday, September the 22nd. According to Ichung'wah, stakeholders who had already presented their memoranda will present the exposition of the memoranda before the committee on Friday this week.
The Kenya Kwanza team leader, the National Dialogue Committee, Kimani Ichung'wah, who also serves as the co-chair of the National Dialogue Committee, in his statement while addressing the press in Bomas of Kenya today, says that the technical committee has revealed and analyzed the 142 memoranda presented to the committee. Ichung'wah noted that the committee has resolved to extend the submission of the memorandas from different stakeholders up to Friday this week. In his communication, Ichung'wah says that on the same Friday, stakeholders who had already presented their memorandas will have a chance for exposition of their memorandas before the committee. The registrator has however noted that after the completion of the presentation of the memorandas, the committee will begin the critical dialogue process. On his part, the Azimio faction leader in the committee, Kalonzo Musyoka, says the committee will however convene on Thursday to discuss the interim measures as per the framework agreement report. Kalonzo has however noted that though there is convergence of ideas from the two sides on some agendas, there still lies a misunderstanding of how to solve some problems. The committee says the presentation of the memorandas will be an open public forum. James Mureke Mwenda, KUTV.
Now, President William Ruto attended a meeting at the United Arab Emirates mission to the United Nations, led by COP28 President and United Arab Emirates Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology, Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber, where he noted that a reformed and just global financial system will empower developing nations to participate meaningfully in climate action and pursue sustainable development. The President has noted that with a focus on debt restructuring and the elimination of discrimination, international financial institutions can foster truly shared prosperity and pave the way for the achievement of the world's climate action objectives and a sustainable future. Elsewhere, thousands of shortlisted National Youth Service graduates stand up for KDF recruitment today at Embakasi Garrison in Nairobi. However, there are about 350 slots available for the tradesmen and women, which is unproportionate to the numbers that stand up. Those from the National Youth Service NYS are advised to have their discharge letter with a good rating for them to get a chance at the Kenya Defence Forces. Despite the numbers, the public has been promised a free and fair recruitment process to all eligible candidates. Kenyatta University, in partnership with African Women in Science and Engineering and Black Women in Engineering, is holding a 4-day engineering outreach program in the Kenyatta University Business and Student Services Center at the main campus. Gender disparities in engineering and STEM is one key issue being addressed in this conference that was officially launched today by Kenyatta University Research, Innovation and Outreach Acting Registrar, Professor Richard Oduor, on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Paul Wainaina. The forum, which will be ongoing till Thursday, intends to also address how food security issues can be addressed through these sciences.
Here at Kenyatta University, through gender mainstreaming in curriculum delivery, the Chandaria Business Innovation and Incubation Center, vibrant STEM and engineering clubs, partnerships with like-minded organizations, we have been at the forefront of advocating hands-on education that is geared towards provision of innovative solutions.
So far, the board has registered an estimated 20,000 graduate engineers, 3,500 professional engineers, and 510 consulting engineers. However, the percentage of professional women is at a lower rate of 7%.
The capitalization rate for women engineers is high. That means if they get into the engineering program, we have really within that period of 5 years, the best students are likely to be women students. And Chair Civil will attest the highest number of first-class women in civil, because that's where I have a lot of experience, are girls.
When we think about ongoing concerns, climate change, food insecurity, environmental degradation, and all this, we realize that STEM has a very important role to play in technological innovations, in sustainable development, in job creation, and entrepreneurship.
The National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, has suggested that workers earning more than 181,818 Kenyan shillings to start paying more in the National Health Insurance Fund than other business owners getting minimal pay. Also, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, has identified more allowances for the removal of some allowances in the public sector.
The National Health Insurance Fund has set out new strategies that they'll receive salaries of more than 100,000 shillings and 5,000 shillings. This is after Community Health Insurance made a recommendation based on the strategy. Formal traders will be expected to pay between 150 shillings and 1,700 shillings. For those who are in the informal sector, they'll be required to pay 500 shillings. In addition, private hospitals began avoiding patients seeking treatment on NHIF insurance May this year due to unpaid debts of at least 12 billion shillings from last year. Elsewhere, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission has reduced the allowances given to public employees. The chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Lane Mengich, said it was best to engage recruitment institutions before advising on special benefits. Director General of the Energy and Petroleum Authority, EPRA, Daniel Kito, has found a challenge in the fuel price increase. The government launched a fuel price stabilization program in April 2021 to prevent consumers from using high-priced fuels at a time when the economy was still affected by measures put in place to fight the COVID pandemic.
All right, 15 minutes past the top of the hour. We are taking a very fast short break at this point. Of course, so much more lined up for you, so stay with us.
Focus on Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Boari Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job.
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Palace Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosive.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
Kutoka kuwa jamii ya kuhamahama na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. Kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok, hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za taarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa Kutv, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalunukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching KTV Primetime News. Let's continue. Now tonight, we delve into the pressing issues of taxation in Kenya. In recent times, the country has witnessed a growing public outcry over what many perceive as over taxation. Now, on September 8, 2023, a significant development occurred when a case challenging the implementation of the Finance Act 2023 was brought before a 3-judge bench. The outcome of this case, set to be delivered on November 24th, has the potential to shape Kenya's fiscal policies and tax landscape. Today, we are privileged to have with us a taxation lawyer, that is Robert Kamwari, to delve into these issues of taxation. Robert is joining us live via Zoom. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for making time for us right here at KTV. All right, now maybe you could tell us, would you describe some of the key challenges that maybe citizens face right now in Kenya in understanding and complying with the current taxation that has been imposed to the Kenyan taxpayer?
Right, thank you very much. It gets a bit confusing when you're served with a bill and then later it is moved to become an act of parliament. So Kenyans tend to get confused because whatever is discussed at the public participation at times ends up not being the same thing that is on the table. So Kenyans and the people in general get confused on what tax rates apply. But ideally, we should use the Finance Act that is published after discussion in Parliament for us to know what are the current tax rates.
All right, then maybe you can also elaborate on maybe some of the things that are confusing when now we are talking about the Finance Act 2023. How does this maybe ambiguities affect the Kenyan taxpayer?
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I could make it easy for the viewers to understand it more.
Yes, please.
We had the Finance Act that was enacted some time back, just some time after June. Then thereafter, just the other day, about a week ago, we heard there are new proposals, and the new proposals that have been put in place is like the increase of VAT from 16 to 18%. We've heard that there will be an imposition of more excise duty on alcoholic beverages. We've also heard that there will be the abolition of the zero-rated VAT rates. And most surprising also, we've heard about the taxation on school activities. So these are some of the things that Kenyans are now grappling with. And it's always good for Kenyans to be informed so that they can be able to participate clearly, so that they can also put their input as they argue out what taxes to be paid.
Now, when we're still talking about Finance Act having some aspects that are maybe confusing to Kenyans, maybe you could also tell us, from your opinion, what are maybe the primary objectives that maybe could have been contained in this Finance Act 2023, and maybe why do you believe it has the potential to confuse Kenyans?
I may want to avoid discussing the Finance Act because being a petitioner of the Act, especially on the housing levy, might be an area that I may be accused of being sub judice. However, there were many areas that Kenyans brought out in the petitions. We had the issue on excise duty, the issue on housing levy, and many Kenyans were grappling with the issue on whether housing levy is supposed to be paid, and until today some employers still keep calling, are we supposed to be paying? But after enactment of the same, then it becomes due. However, the matter has been taken to court, and we expect anytime in November, then the courts will determine, because as per the petition that was given by Okiya Omtata, Senator, they had the petition that they wanted the whole Finance Act scrapped off, while other petitioners were trying to ask for a few of the sections of the Act to be scrapped off. So as it stands right now, the Act is in place. Well, I agree with you. There was the whole issue. We heard that the matter has gone to the Court of Appeal, the matter has gone to the Supreme Court. However, whatever was going to the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal was in relation to the orders for conservatory orders. But after that was scrapped, now we are waiting for the decision of the court in relation to the main suit.
Now, maybe you could also just tell us in your own experience now that you don't want us to delve much into the Finance Act 2023, in your own experience, what are maybe the main concerns or grievances that taxpayers have raised regarding taxation, the tax system right now in Kenya?
Thank you very much. I'm free to discuss other issues like just the other day, as I just mentioned. We have been given up to the 6th of October 2023, and that is in less than a month's time, to react to the new proposals that have been put forward. And one of the main proposals, is just like I mentioned, is the issue of the increase of VAT from 16 to 18%. Kenyans need to actually participate, and they need to understand what implication that will have to them. Remember that the more we pay the taxes, the government collects more revenue. However, it is an implication on the other side on the taxpayers. Why do we say that? Is because now you realize that the little disposable income that you have been left with, you're no longer able to use it, but now it has to go to the taxman, and thus reducing your savings. So amongst other things that will be increased is the taxation on school and school activities, and that's why we urge Kenyans to involve themselves as much as possible in public participation. This forum is a fantastic forum, and the KUTV has done to involve Kenyans through public participation and ensure that they can air their views. And believe me, the legislators are there to listen to your views. They may change a few of some of the things that may be there, maybe not 100%, but it's the right of every Kenyan to participate.
Now, how sure maybe can Kenyans be this time round that their concerns will be heard and catered to in regards to this public participation, now that we've had complaints over time that citizens, while participating in public participation, their concerns are not being addressed as they would want to?
the bar has been put quite high. The threshold for public participation is left to us to decide. And over the years, very many matters have been sent to court, and people are debating, was there public participation or not? Or the fact that we sent our memorandums, enough public participation, and Kenyans also may be expecting that whatever they say should also come out changed in the various acts and the legislations. However, by us participating, we go down on record that we have expressed our views, and down on record that we want this and this changed. And those who are in power, or those who are in that arm of government or making the laws, listen and should listen actually, so that they can make the changes. It's not guaranteed that 100% participation will take place, but the more we participate, the better. It would be worse for us not to participate, then we shall be saying we should have. However, after public participation, then we have another channel through the courts where we can go and complain, or we can go and air our abuse, not complaining as such. And the courts have they have the ability to check on the threshold on public participation.
All right. Now, maybe what measures, in your opinion, should be taken now to simplify the tax system in Kenya right now and to make it equitable and accessible for all taxpayers?
Thank you. We have the 4 canons of taxation, which is equality, economic, convenient, and if the canons of taxations are taken into account, then you'll realize that people will be happy with what they're told to go ahead and pay. However, we need to have the tax bracket or the tax base expanded much further, because if you look at the most recent move that the legislators have used when it comes to taxation, and this I refer to most of the things that we've had coming into place, you can get most of the people who are affected are the employees. So people who are in formal employment are highly affected by the taxes that are being put in place. We've heard that they are being taxed on NHIF, they will also be taxed on the housing levy, and such deductions due to the fact that it is easy. So it would be best if the tax base can be expanded further. More creativity is required so that when people are being taxed, they don't feel the pinch too much. Then, so that, because you see, we should have what we're talking about, equality, and there should be equity. So one side should not feel that they're oppressed too much compared to another.
Right. Now, maybe you could also tell us the potential consequences that you now, as a taxation lawyer, foresee that could come up as a result of changes in taxation on economic growth, maybe also investments and job opportunities, job reach in Kenya.
What every foreigner or every foreign investor will ask you when he's discussing with you, or when he's trying to find a way of getting into your country for investment, the first thing he asks you, what are your tax rates? What is the corporation tax rate in your country? Well, in countries like China, you'll be shocked that the tax rate is at 25%. Some countries like Dubai, corporation tax is almost at nil. The reason is because they are able to get their money for circulation or money to run the economy through other means. You know, those are rich nations where there is oil, petroleum, and they can sell. In Kenya, we are not as fortunate to have this. So Kenya's economy highly relies on taxation. So if we are heavily taxed, on the other hand, then it means foreign investors may actually run away. Not only foreign investors, but even local investors. So if we do not have good tax incentives that will encourage people to invest more, you realize that people will start running away from investing in Kenya. You've heard of companies that are planning to shift base to go to neighboring country in Tanzania because they feel that the neighbors have got a better tax system. So we need to watch out, because that will erode our investors. And mostly also your small disposable income. You can imagine if now the taxation on school activities is implemented, and you're told that the swimming money that you pay, 16% VAT will be charged on it, then will you afford to pay for it? So these are some of the key questions that legislators should take into account and think hard when putting this in place so that we can motivate people to invest and to spend, because when you spend, the economy also grows.
All right. We also have a question coming in for you right here, and he's asking about the falling of the Kenyan shilling. How will it impact the Finance Act implementation and even on taxation, and what it means to the Kenyan economy?
The drop of the foreign currency, for those who are investors from abroad, you can be sure it's normally maybe, let's say, a joy for them, because if they had $1 million that they wanted to invest in our country, then if at the time when they wanted to move in, the dollar was at 120, now they can move in at 150. However, the drop in the dollar also has got a negative effect to the local investors, or those who are doing business locally. So you realize that you'll have to pay more for your goods if you purchase goods from abroad. And remember, locally, you'll not be able to increase the prices. People still have got that conservativeness. You cannot keep increasing your prices. So ideally, when it comes then to taxes, in the long run, you'll notice that unless we have more and more investors coming in, the local investors will not be able to sustain the economy. The same thing, people will not be able to buy in the economy and will not be able to spend. So in the long run, it's also a good thing that the economist, the central bank, also find a way of balancing the act, ensuring that whatever measures are going to be put to curb the dollar from going too high or going too low, because that will have an effect on taxes, they take that and implement it immediately.
All right. Also, are there any specific sectors that or demographics that you would say are disproportionately affected now with the current tax regime?
Yes, there are. You notice that manufacturing is highly getting affected. As we said, more and more institutions are closing down. Manufacturing institutions are closing down. Those who are doing export business also are affected, because the VAT on export services is also affected. And you will realize other sectors that are directly affected are like the manufacturing of cigarettes, alcohol, beverages. Although the consumption of the same is every now and then, but the budget or the current Finance Act has got much to speak to how companies are operating. But the pharmaceuticals are highly affected. The hair industry, beauty products, highly affected also.
All right, now as we wind up, Wakili, I would love to know what are maybe some of the now strategies that you would say should be employed to mitigate the potential burden on low-income individuals in the country.
Let us try as much as possible and encourage production, because the more we produce, and rightly said and rightly asked of us, those with low income, you realize that those of low income, in most cases, these are people who are earning a tune of 20,000 and below. These are people who will be working in our factories. In an organization, in a trading organization, you will not find there being so many people. If we're just doing buying and selling, getting products from China and acting as a conveyor belt to send them to Rwanda, production is not as much. However, where we have manufacturing, we tend to have shifts. People are running various shifts in their day-to-day operations. You realize that there will be people have to cook tea, there has to be somebody providing food, and those various activities. So manufacturing is a key sector where we want to encourage people to invest in. You realize that food security is also another area, under the area of agriculture. We have very good programs like on the fertilizer, where free fertilizer is being given, or fertilizer that is at subsidized rate. If the agricultural sector can also be improved or encouraged to grow much faster, then you'll realize that it will be easier, because food, which is a basic commodity, will no longer be an issue. Getting vegetables from the shop will not be a big cost, and therefore Kenyans will not feel the cost when now you have to go and spend a bit more on luxurious items paying school fees as we have been asked to increase the payment of school fees. Therefore, you find that most of the people will enjoy the economy in the long run.
Thank you so much. That is Robert Kamwara, an advocate and a tax expert, telling us more about taxation and how its effect on the Kenyan economy. Thank you so much, Wakili, for making time for us tonight.
Thank you too, and encourage Kenyans to involve themselves in public participation a lot.
Right. We are taking a very short break at this point. Of course, we're coming back with more news. Stay with us.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
The beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, is the second advent is imminent.
Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching KTV Primetime News. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, over 500 youth in Kilifi County have benefited from digital education program by Power to Learn project organization that seeks to empower youth into the fourth industrial revolution. Elsewhere, the Kiambu County government is intending to install solar lighting systems for street lights following high electricity bills annually. This and more from Charles Kirubi in the County Wrap.
To welcome.
In a quest to train 1 million software developers in Africa, the Power to Learn project organization has offered a free scholarship to over 500 Kilifi youths in Kilifi County. According to the program manager of Chief Growth and Operations, Mrs. Mombi Ndongo, the selected youths drawn from all the 35 wards in the county will undergo a 4-month training on how to operate and explore the internet for opportunities, a step that seeks to empower youths into the fourth industrial revolution.
Hapa leo tumeweza kulaunch hii program ambapo tunapatia vijana 500 kutoka wadi mbalimbali huku Kilifi County scholarship. Wataweza kusoma kwa muda wa miezi 4. Tutawafundisha vitu vingi kuhusu digital skills ambapo baada yake wataweza kutumia hizo skills kutafuta riziki, wanaweza pata kazi huku ama hata nje ya nchi, ambacho ni kitu pia sisi kama Powerland husaidia nacho.
Following high electricity bills that amounts to 1.7 billion yearly, Kiambu County government intends to install solar lighting systems to save on electricity bills. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of construction of a new level 3 hospital in Kawasukari, Governor Kimani Wamatangi says the county gets a monthly electricity bill of 142 shillings million, which translates to 1.7 billion shillings annually for street lighting, and it could soon reach 200 million shillings a month due to rising power tariffs.
Ile ninaletewa kila mwezi kwa ofisi, ninaletewa bili ya 142 million ya stima kila mwezi. Ndio nikatoa ilani kwa watu wote ya kwamba sasa ukitaka kuweka mataa, kama wewe ni MCA, kama wewe ni MP, kama wewe ni governor ama ni nani, hata watu wenye wanatusaidia, lete mataa ya sola. Hiyo ndio tunaweka sasa kwenye contract. Tusipoweka mataa ya sola jameni, sasa mtakuwa mnaweka leo, inakaa siku 2 unapata usiku jioni na hujui ya kwamba ni kama hajalipa bili.
Meanwhile, small-scale farmers in Migori County under the umbrella of Kenya Peasants League have urged the government not to implement the 5% withholding tax on farm produce, saying it will hinder the production of food as well as interfere with food security in the country.
The taxing system would affect the farmers in rural areas, and most of them are just peasant farmers who collect their products in a pool, and maybe one farmer earn less than 10,000 in the pool, and when this tax of 5% is imposed, will demoralize the farmers.
Elsewhere in Murang'a County, more than 1,000 farmers from parts of Lower Murang'a will be engaged in growing sorghum for commercial purposes after the county government linked a deal with East Africa Breweries Limited to promote growing of the crop in areas of the county that receive minimal rains. This move will enable farmers from the lower part of the county to earn a living. Charles Kirubi, KUTV.
In other news, the Agricultural Society of Kenya has announced the Nairobi International Trade Fair, which is set to begin from 25th September to 1st October 2023, under the theme Promoting Climate Smart Agriculture and Trade Initiatives for Sustainable Economic Growth. Speaking on the event, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi urged youths to embrace tree planting and agriculture to tackle the food crisis and combat climate change. The Society's national chairperson, Annabella Kirinya, said that the Society has inventions from different sectors that will help improve agricultural produce.
We have different people from different sectors, not just agriculture. We have livestock, we have trade exhibitions, and we have different types of technologies, even from farmers themselves, coming and showing new skills in agriculture.
I commend the church, our society, and all the partners and the sponsors for their unwavering commitment to ensure that the proceeds from this harvest festival service are distributed to the less fortunate and needy members of our communities.
Right, you're taking another short break at this point. You're coming back with sports news. Stay tuned.
to look for high quality friends.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica, you know, Portmore. That's my village.
Sanga kitini hapo ukinyetia ukikatia mademo akipita.
Sinaweza saa hii nimekuja kukopesa job.
Adventures across the African continent. See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and out of this world technologies. Meet incredible scientists and learn fantastic facts. Explore, discover, be amazed. Be part of the next generation of African change makers. Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day.
Mtazamaji popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyonyi clocked a world leading time of 1 minute and 42.80 seconds to win the men's 800 meters in the Wonder Diamond League in Eugene, Oregon, United States. Wanyonyi finished ahead of rival Marco Arop of Canada and Jamel Sedjati of Algeria, who finished in second and third place respectively. In the women's 5,000 meters race, Commonwealth Games champion Bitus Chebet finished second after clocking 14 minutes and 5.92 seconds behind Ethiopia's Gidaft Sigei, who put in a new world record of 14 minutes, 5 seconds faster than the previous record set by Kenya's Faith Kipyegon in June this year. Australia were handed their first defeat after losing 15-22 against Fiji in the ongoing Rugby World Cup in France. Australia remain third in Group C as Wales and Fiji occupy the top two spots in Group D. England thrashed Japan 34-12 to stay top of the group, while South Africa demolished Romania 76-0 to go second in Group B. In tomorrow's Group A match, Uruguay will face off with Italy at the Allianz Rivera Stadium from 7 p.m. Kenyan time. And finally, Arsenal picked up all 3 points in their Premier League clash against Everton at the Goodison Park as a second-half strike from Leandro Trossard was enough to give the Gunners a hard-earned victory. In the Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid are back on top after a 2-1 victory against Real Sociedad as Sevilla won their first match of the season 1-0 against Las Palmas, while in the Italian Serie, as Roma's under Portuguese manager Jose Mourinho thrashed Empoli 7-0, climbed up to 12 on the table. That brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. Do enjoy the rest of your week and be sure to stay tuned for our subsequent bulletins. My name is Anne Odida. I'm in the company of Sami Okelo. We meet again on Sunday, inshallah. Have a good night.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. Kutv, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates